The third piece in what we do. We got some workout videos up. We know to get the 10 to 15,000 steps a day for the second piece, and this is going to be the nutrition. So this is what we need to work on. So I want to first say I'm not a nutritionist. I did not go to school to be a nutritionist. I'm not a physician. I just have done a lot of research. I did take one class in college on nutrition, but I have learned a lot over just trial and error. So I've said in previous videos, I did weigh over 250 pounds before. I run around 170 now. I have learned what works for me. And so I'm just going to give you some basics of what to follow to start, and then I'll probably get more into it later on, because whether you're trying to lose weight or gain weight, there's going to be some adjustments depending on age sometimes, diet restrictions, so there's going to be some adjustments there, but we'll go over that. Now, first thing I want to talk about with nutrition, I think that's probably the most important, is the word diet. Now, I know a lot of times someone they'll say, what do you eat? And I'll say, well, this is what I do for my diet. They think I've got some sort of diet like an Atkins diet or something like that, which it's not really that way. So the way I do my diet is completely different. So if you look at the definition of diet, it's just what do you eat? It's the foods that you intake. What do you eat? What do you consume to get energy to move throughout the day? So really, all the diet really has to consist of what works right for your body. For me, I do really well off of lean meats and fruits. I do very little vegetables. I do very few carbs, some rice here and there, and I do some desserts occasionally for fun, because you have to have fun with it. That's another thing with diet, is I love food. At one point, I was over 250 pounds, so I really love food. But this diet over the years of me following this has helped me to trim down and get into shape. So we're just gonna kind of start off first, just as a basics. Now again, like I think I just said, diet changes depending if you're trying to gain weight, lose weight, build muscle, all that. But just as a basics, that's what we're gonna start with. So first things first. Let's just say you want to be 200 pounds. So the easiest way to get to 200 pounds is to just multiply that by 10. You have 2,000 calories. That's what you eat. Don't eat any more than 2,000 calories in a day. Keep it to 2,000 calories. Out of those 2,000 calories, you're going to take 5% of those, or 100, and make that protein. Lean protein though. I don't want it from shakes. I don't want it from protein bars. If you do research on those, you'll find out that that's not as bioavailable as your typical chicken, fish, red meats, heck, even all the peanuts, things like that have the protein in them. It's just not as bioavailable. So you're not actually taking on that much protein. So if you go and you get 100 grams, 90 to 100 grams on a 2,000 calorie diet, and you're getting that mostly from your lean meats, it is kind of difficult to get to, I'll be honest, but it does leave a lot of room then for things that you might want to eat. If you want to eat something that maybe is not the best for you, some chips and salsa, which can be good here and there, saltier foods, if you want to have cake, pie, just fit those into the diet. With that diet, I follow that very strict for at least 5 days a week, sometimes 6. The other day I will cheat. I'll have ice cream, I'll have cakes, pies, something I want to have that I enjoy, because you do want to enjoy the food that you intake. So a typical day for me, usually in the morning, I love eggs. I'll have 3 to 4 eggs in the morning. Usually that's all I eat with it, either hard-boiled eggs, scrambled eggs, something like that. Really then, for midday, I'll have a can of tuna, a larger can of tuna. Usually gets you about 40 grams of protein there too, very low calories. But you can also eat other things like, I do a lot of, trying to think here, sandwich meat wraps, like a ham, a turkey, chicken. Put some cheese around it. I don't put it on bread. You of course can, but I'm not going to waste those calories on that for me. To me, I don't really care for bread that much anyway, so it works really well for me to just eat that. And I just take that with me as I go throughout the day. I like to have some trail mix with me at all times. Gives you some really good fats, some decent carbs. You actually get a decent amount of protein. So that might be a midday snack or something like that. Beef jerky is really good for that as well too. And then even just a handful like cashews, peanuts, things like that. All these things are really high in fat, good fats though, and high in calories to get you through the day. And then for dinner, that's where I kind of maybe eat a little higher amounts of my calories. I might be at 50 or 60% of my calories for dinner. And that's where I'll eat something, maybe if I haven't had carbs all day, I'll have some lasagna, even though it might not be the best for you, it tastes good, so I'll have maybe some lasagna. But a lot of times we do a lot of chicken, we do a lot of burgers, spaghetti and meatballs, we make real nice protein-filled meatballs. We do salmon. I do really well with fish. I love fish. These are all examples of what you can do with your diet. And that diet I just gave you, really even with having the snacks and not adding into it, you won't even be close to that 2,000 calories, and yet you'll get those 100 grams of protein, which allows you then to cheat just a little bit in between there if you want to. And you'll start to really slowly shred using that diet. Now, more specifically, if you need more help with exactly what to eat, the best way to do that is, if you don't know what's actually helping you or not helping you, is to do some sort of an elimination diet where you find very basic foods, rice, chicken, fish, some sort of beef, something like that, and you only start with that and eat nothing else. And then with that, when you add something into that, if your body reacts negatively to it, you back away from that. I do watch my diet, and I have been watching it over the last 4 or 5 years, so I pretty much know what does and doesn't treat me right. Vegetables, for some reason, just don't treat me right. I don't eat those. And everybody's different, so this isn't the one-size-fits-all. Hey, if you just eat lean meat, you'll be great. Hey, if you just do this. Sometimes maybe you do better on, I've heard plenty of people do great on a vegan diet. It didn't do well for me, but it does for other people. So they're really good vegetarians. Some do the carnivore diet. It just depends on what you need. Mostly for me, I do mostly fruits, mostly meats, like I said, with a lot of rice for my carbohydrates, and that's all I really need. So it just gives you kind of a basics of what to follow. And again, it's very simple math. If you want to get down to 150, eat 1,500 calories in a day. Take 5% of those, or 75, make that your lean protein, and don't get that from protein shakes and protein bars, get it from your actual meat. I will say that once you get much below that, 1,500 calories is probably a minimum intake restriction for caloric intake in a day. Your brain still needs fat, it still needs energy, it still needs calories, so you have to start watching if you're trying to get below that. I know some of you that might be trying to get to 120, 130 pounds, you're just going to up the activity a little bit. That brings me to one last point with my diet. When you are a highly active person, when you're working out an hour a day, getting 10, 15,000 steps a day, you need to bump those calories up about 25%. You'll still lose weight, trust me, but you do need to bump those up. Now, initially, if you're trying to lose weight, go ahead and you can stick to the basic amount of calories if you choose. But when you're getting active and you get to a weight you're happy with, you need to bump those calories up. Your brain needs the fats, your body needs the calories. You don't want to be lethargic throughout the day, and you need to just play with this diet a little bit. So this diet is a good basic map for you to follow. If you realize that, hey, I'm just not feeling right on this, I need more calories, do it. If you're just killing it and you're getting shredded down and you don't even need all the calories, fantastic, that's for you. This gives you a nice base to follow and then move throughout. And what I'll do probably in the future is just show you a couple of the recipes that we do, some of the things we do for meal prep, that just makes it real easy, real simple, high calorie, high protein, lower calorie meals that you can eat that fill you up, so you don't feel like you have to eat 4 or 5 or 6 times a day. And just gives you kind of a basic of what to follow, and we'll get into those a little bit later. So really, that's just my roadmap. That's Nutrition 101. Of course, avoid anything you're allergic to. Again, I'm not a physician. Again, this is something that you need to do. It's not something that everybody follows, and it's the exact same thing. Just once you get to that point, if you follow it for maybe a week or 2 or 3, see what happens. If you're starting to see that you're gaining, not losing weight, then adjust. Even comment. I would talk to me. I'll see what we can do for you, see if we can make any adjustments. And one of the hardest things you're going to come across is counting calories. Things are very difficult to figure out how much calories are in each thing. Sometimes you have to kind of guess. I've gotten really good over the years to figure out what's in each item, but that's something that's a little bit of a process for you too. Don't get overwhelmed with it. Start with one thing. I just know that calories in eggs, it's 70 calories and 6 grams of protein in an egg. Pretty simple. You just start to learn that over time of what each item is, roughly what you're eating, and as long as you're in that ballpark, you should be good to go. So this video should do very well for you. This is our 3rd piece. I'll do more detailed videos in the future. If there's something else you need, any questions you have, of course, feel free to comment. I will respond to my comments. If you have any comments on what's worked for you, let me know. If there's any adjustments you think we need to make, I'll be happy to help with you on a personal level. But this here should hopefully get you where you want to be, losing weight, feeling great, get shredded, and have all that energy that you need to fuel these workouts and get all those steps in. And as I always say, just keep at it, stay motivated, keep moving forward, and stay savage.